Arab millionaires' babies cried when they saw the black cleaning lady. Their words left everyone in shock. "Mama! Mama!" The scream echoed through the mansion like thunder on a sunny day. 70 guests dressed in silks and diamonds froze, champagne glasses suspended in the air. Because the 3-year-old twin daughters of billionaire Khalil al-Rashid, who hadn't spoken a word for 18 months, had just shouted "Mama" at the black cleaning lady who was discreetly cleaning a corner of the ballroom. Nora was 32 and had never imagined that her cleaning shift at a gala would end like this. With 2 Arab little girls with dark curls running towards her, white lace dresses flying, tears wetting their chubby cheeks. Salma and Rania al-Rashid weren't walking. They were running as if their lives depended on reaching that woman in the gray uniform. "This isn't happening," Nora whispered as the twins threw themselves against her legs, clutching with desperate force. "Please, don't let this be happening." But it was. And 70 pairs of eyes were now fixed on her with absolute shock and contained fury. Khalil al-Rashid stood in the center of the ballroom of his Beverly Hills property, officially introducing his new fiancée, Vivian Ashford, to California's business elite. He was 41, owner of a technology company valued at $8 billion. His dark brown eyes, usually calculating in business, now showed total confusion. "Salma? Rania?" His voice cut the silence. "What are you doing?" The twins didn't answer. They clung to Nora's legs as if she were the only real thing in a world that made no sense. They cried the kind of cry that comes from the depths of the soul, the cry of those who have finally found something that was lost. Vivian Ashford crossed the room with steps that echoed like sentences. She was 38, with platinum blonde hair, a red Versace dress, and French manicured nails that looked like painted claws. Her icy blue eyes fixed on Nora with pure hatred. "What did you do to my daughters?" Vivian's voice was poison wrapped in silk. "I didn't do anything, ma'am." Nora kept her head down. "I was just cleaning and they..." "They what? Decided to call a complete stranger mommy?" Vivian turned to Khalil. "Are you seeing this? This woman obviously manipulated them. Who knows what she said when no one was looking?" Helen al-Rashid, Khalil's mother, an elegant 67-year-old woman with a blue silk hijab, descended the main stairs. "Vivian, be careful with your accusations." "Accusations?" Vivian spun around. "Helen, your granddaughters are calling the help, mommy. Doesn't that sound alarming to you?" Khalil walked towards his daughters. As he approached, Rania hid her face even more against Nora's legs, and Salma started crying louder. It was as if the presence of their own father frightened them. Something broke in Khalil's chest. His daughters were afraid of him. Afraid of their own father. "What is your name?" Khalil asked Nora. "Nora Davis, sir." "How long have you worked here?" 4 months, sir." 4 months. Since July. And during those 4 months, what had happened that he hadn't seen? "Khalil, she needs to be fired immediately." Vivian dug her nails into his arm. "I don't know what this woman did, but she manipulated vulnerable children. That's predatory." "Vivian, please." Helen's voice was firm. "Let's find out what's going on before we accuse." But Vivian had already decided. She turned to the guests. "You all saw this, didn't you? You saw this employee cause this disturbing scene? Who knows what else she's done?" Michael Torres, Khalil's lawyer and best friend, a 43-year-old man, watched from the bar. Something wasn't right. Vivian was attacking too fast, too aggressively. It was too defensive. Nora tried to move away, but Salma and Rania clutched tighter. "No, no," Salma whimpered. It was the first word besides mama in 18 months. "Girls, come with daddy." Khalil knelt down. "No." Rania screamed, and looked her father directly in the eyes for the first time in months. But there was no love. There was fear. Pure terror. It was at that moment that Khalil realized he had no control whatsoever. His daughters trusted a cleaning lady more than they trusted him. And his fiancée was turning the situation into an absolute disaster. "All of you leave." Khalil's voice cut through the ballroom like a blade. "The party is over." The guests hesitated, but Khalil's expression left no room for argument. Within 15 minutes, the ballroom was empty except for Khalil, Vivian, Helen, Michael, Nora, and the twins who still refused to let go of her. "Let's go to my office," Khalil said, voice controlled but tense. "All of us. And we're going to find out what the hell is going on." Nora felt her stomach sink. Because she knew exactly what was happening. She knew the secret the twins were keeping. She knew the truth about how their mother had died. And when that truth came out, nothing would ever be the same. If your heart is racing right now, if you need to know what happens next, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because what comes next will leave you speechless. Khalil's office occupied the entire floor of the West Wing. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the lights of Los Angeles twinkling like fallen stars. But no one was looking at the view. Nora was sitting in a leather chair, Salma and Rania clinging to her like barnacles. The twins had finally stopped crying, but their little fingers still gripped the gray uniform tightly. Khalil stood behind his desk, his jaw tense. Vivian circled like a wounded predator. Helen watched from the side armchair with an impenetrable expression. Michael leaned against the bookshelf, discreetly recording everything on his cell phone. "Explain." Khalil crossed his arms. "Explain how my daughters, who haven't spoken to anyone for 18 months, suddenly scream Mama at the cleaning lady." Nora took a deep breath. "Mr. Al-Rashid, I take care of them." "You what?" Vivian practically spat the words. "The nannies you hired." Nora chose each word carefully. "They don't take care of the girls. They stay on their phones. They leave Salma and Rania alone in the room for hours. When they cry, no one comes." The silence was absolute. "That's a lie." Vivian exploded. "Jessica and Caroline are highly qualified professionals that I personally chose." "They are your friends," Helen interrupted softly. "That you brought with you when you moved here 6 months ago." 6 months. Khalil calculated. The nannies had come with Vivian 2 months before Nora started working. "Continue," he told Nora. "I work the night shift. From 8 at night to 4 in the morning. I clean the mansion when everyone is asleep." Nora clasped her hands in her lap. 3 months ago, I heard crying. Salma and Rania were alone in the dark room. The nannies were sleeping on the TV room couch." Khalil closed his eyes. "And you?" "I went in. I turned on the light. I picked both of them up and sang until they fell asleep." Nora's voice trembled. "The next night, it happened again. And the night after that. So I started checking every time. Every night I work, I go up at 10:30. I change diapers if needed. I give them water. I tell stories. I stay until they fall asleep." "She's making this up to save her job." Vivian shouted. "There are cameras," Michael said calmly from the bookshelf. "Throughout the mansion. Except in the bedrooms, for privacy reasons. But in the hallways, yes." Khalil looked at his friend. "Can you access them?" "I'm doing it now." Michael was typing on his phone. 3 months ago. Here. October 1st, 10:37 p.m. He turned the screen. The video showed Nora exiting the service elevator on the 2nd floor, carrying cleaning supplies. She stopped at the twins' bedroom door, tilted her head listening to something, then dropped everything and rushed inside. Next night. Michael fast-forwarded. Same scene. The night after. Again. Every night for the last 90 days. Vivian turned pale. "Did the nannies know about this?" "I don't think so," Nora replied. "They sleep heavily. And I always leave before they wake up." "Why did you do that?" Helen asked, and there was something in her voice, something soft. "It wasn't your job." Nora looked at the twins on her lap. Salma had fallen asleep, her cheek resting on Nora's chest. Rania was playing with a small locket around Nora's neck, the one with a hidden photo. "Because no one should be alone when they are scared," Nora whispered. "No one. Especially children who have lost their mother." The room went silent. Then Khalil spoke, and his voice was hoarse. "Did you know my wife?" Nora looked up. It was now. She had to tell him. "Yes. I knew Layla." The name dropped into the room like a bomb. No one had spoken Layla Al-Rashid's name for 18 months. She was a ghost everyone avoided. "I met her at the hospital," Nora continued. Cedars-Sinai Hospital, 2 years ago. I worked the night cleaning shift. She was visiting someone in the oncology wing at 3 in the morning. She was crying on a bench in the hallway. Khalil sat down heavily. My mother. Helen was hospitalized with severe pneumonia at that time. Yes. Layla told me. Nora wiped a tear. We talked. She was exhausted, scared, alone. I stayed with her. Brought her coffee. Let her vent. We became friends. Secret friends, I guess. She didn't tell anyone about me because, well, I was the cleaning lady. Layla wasn't like that, Helen protested softly. It wasn't prejudice. It was protection. She said that you, Nora looked at Khalil, were under a lot of stress. Company, family, everything. She didn't want to add more worry by saying she was having difficulties. What kind of difficulties? Khalil leaned forward. Nora hesitated. But Rania chose that moment to whisper, so quietly that almost no one heard, mean. She is mean. Everyone looked at the little girl. Her tiny finger pointed directly at Vivian. What did you say, darling? Helen approached. But Rania hid her face in Nora's neck, refusing to speak more. Vivian laughed, but it sounded false. Ridiculous. The child is confused. Traumatized. Clearly this woman influenced her against me. Layla told me something, Nora said suddenly. 3 weeks before she died. She was scared. She said someone didn't want her to live. That strange things were happening. Switched medications. Failing car brakes. Small accidents that weren't accidents. Michael stopped typing. Khalil remained still as a statue. Did she say a name? Michael asked. Nora looked directly at Vivian. She said there was a woman. A woman who wanted you, Khalil. Who always wanted you. And that this woman was getting impatient. Vivian turned white as a sheet. That's absurd. Defamation. Layla died in a car accident. The police investigated. It was ruled an accident. Brakes failed, Michael said slowly. The same failure Layla mentioned weeks before. Coincidence. Where were you when it happened? Helen asked, and there was a thread of steel in her voice. I was. Vivian stammered. You were in the garage that morning, Khalil said, and every word was ice. I remember you saying you had left your purse in your car and went to get it. 20 minutes before Layla left. The silence that followed was deafening. Vivian backed up to the wall, her perfect nails scratching the carved wood. You're crazy. All of you. Believing a cleaning lady instead of me. Show your phone, Michael said calmly. What? Your phone. Now. He held out his hand. If you have nothing to hide. I don't have to prove anything. So you refuse. Khalil stood up, and there was something dangerous in his eyes. Vivian, show the phone. Last chance. The office door opened. 2 men in black suits entered. Private security. Did you get it? Michael asked. Yes, Mr. Torres. The taller man handed over a tablet. Complete carrier records. Calls, messages, GPS locations for the last 3 years. Vivian tried to run for the door, but the second guard blocked her. She was trapped. Michael slid his finger across the screen. His eyes narrowed. 23 calls to a mechanic named Derek Stone in the 2 months before Layla's death. 3 bank transfers in the same period. $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. That doesn't prove anything. Vivian screamed. My car needed maintenance. Derek Stone was arrested 6 months ago, the guard spoke. For insurance fraud. Vehicle sabotage. He's cooperating with the police now in exchange for a reduced sentence. Khalil took the tablet from Michael's hands. He read. His face turned gray. You paid to have my wife killed. It wasn't a question. It was a statement. Khalil, please. You killed the mother of my daughters. Khalil's scream made everyone jump. Why? Why, Vivian? Because she didn't deserve you. Vivian exploded, her entire mask of sophistication shattering. I knew you first. 10 years ago at the tech conference in Dubai. I was there, interested, available. But you chose that ordinary teacher with no money, no connections, no nothing. Layla was a good person, Helen said, her voice trembling with contained anger. Layla was an obstacle. Vivian was collapsing. I waited. I waited for years. I befriended her. I gained her trust. Then I started small. Swapped her blood pressure medicine for placebos. Lightly cut the car brakes the first time, just to scare her. But she survived. Nora hugged the twins tighter. Salma had woken up and both were listening, eyes wide. So I waited 6 months, Vivian continued, unable to stop. I planned better. I paid Derek to do it right. Brakes completely severed. And it worked. She hit that tree at 100 kilometers an hour and... Helen's slap echoed like a gunshot. The matriarch of the Al-Rashid family, always so controlled, had slapped Vivian hard enough to leave a red mark. You killed my daughter-in-law, the mother of my grandchildren. And you had the audacity to pretend to console my son. Helen was shaking with fury. You slept in my house. You played with my granddaughters. You planned to marry Khalil over the grave of the woman you murdered. I love him. Vivian was crying now, makeup running. I always loved him. You don't know the word, Khalil said, his voice dead. Love doesn't kill. Love doesn't destroy. You are a monster. Michael was already on the phone. Detective Morrison? Michael Torres. I have a full confession of homicide. Recorded. With banking evidence and witnesses. Al-Rashid Mansion, Beverly Hills. No, no, no. Vivian slid down the wall to the floor. Khalil, please. I can explain. I was unbalanced. It wasn't me. We can fix this, you and I, without the police. You destroyed my family. Khalil knelt in front of her, eye to eye. You made my daughters grow up without a mother. You made them stop talking from so much trauma. And you know what's worse? I almost let you become their stepmother. I almost let you be near them every day. Salma stirred in Nora's lap. With a tiny but clear voice, she heard Mommy. We saw. Everyone froze. What did you say, darling? Khalil turned to his daughter. We saw her touching Mommy's car, Rania whispered. Underneath. With tools. It was dark, but we saw from the bedroom window. You saw. Helen covered her mouth with her hands. We told Mommy, Salma continued. Mommy called someone. But then her car broke down. And she never came back. The twins had seen. They had tried to warn. And no one listened to them because they were so small. Afterwards, when Layla died, the trauma silenced them completely. Until Nora. Until someone finally made them feel safe enough to speak again. Vivian collapsed into sobs. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. No one was supposed to know. They weren't supposed to see. Sirens wailed outside. Blue and red lights reflected in the enormous windows. 3 police officers entered 5 minutes later. Michael handed over the tablet with evidence, the recorded phone, the bank records. Detective Morrison, a 50-year-old man with a tired face, placed handcuffs on Vivian while reading her rights. Vivian Ashford, you are under arrest for the murder of Layla Al-Rashid. You have the right to remain silent. As they led Vivian away in handcuffs, she screamed, Khalil. Khalil, please. I did everything for us. The door closed. Silence returned. Khalil slowly turned to Nora. She was still holding his daughters, who now looked at him with something different in their eyes. No more fear. Cautious curiosity. You knew, he said. Layla told you her suspicions, and you came to work here to protect my daughters. Nora nodded. She made me promise. She said if anything happened to her, I needed to take care of them. So when I saw the job ad 4 months ago, I came. I couldn't leave them alone with that woman. You risked your life. They're worth the risk. Khalil knelt in front of Nora. For the first time, he truly looked at the woman who had saved everything. He saw the kindness in her eyes, the strength, the genuine love she had for 2 children who weren't even hers. Salma, Rania, he said softly. This is Nora. And she's going to stay with us. Not as a cleaning lady. As family. If you want. Stay, Mama Nora? Salma asked. Stay. Rania echoed. Nora looked at Khalil. There were tears in her eyes. I'll stay. 6 months later, the Al-Rashid mansion had a sound that had been missing for a long time: children's laughter. Salma and Rania, now 4 years old, ran through the garden chasing butterflies. Their dark curls shone under the California sun as they shouted with joy. They talked nonstop now, singing songs, telling made-up stories. Nora was sitting on the terrace watching, a gentle smile on her face. She no longer wore a gray uniform. Today she wore a simple blue dress. On her finger, a discreet gold wedding band. Thinking about what? Khalil sat beside her, 2 cups of coffee in his hands. How life changes, Nora accepted the cup. 6 months ago, I was the invisible cleaning lady. Today I am my wife. The mother of my daughters. Khalil took her hand. And I still don't think I thank you enough. You thank me every day. When you look at them and smile. When you get home from work at 6 instead of midnight. Vivian's trial had been quick. Recorded confession, Derek Stone's testimony, bank evidence. 40 years in prison without parole. The woman who killed for obsessive love was now wasting away in a cell. Helen appeared at the terrace door, radiant. The girls want to show you something. They say it's urgent. Salma and Rania ran like twin hurricanes. Mama Nora. Baba. Come see. They had started calling Nora Mama Nora naturally. No one forced it. It was how they made sense of the world. In their bedroom, the twins had drawn with crayons. Salma proudly showed 5 stick figures. A tall one, Khalil, one in a blue skirt, Nora, one with gray hair, Helen, and 2 small ones holding hands. Our family, Rania explained. But in the corner of the paper, separate, was another figure. Smaller, more delicate, floating with drawn wings. And this one? Khalil asked softly. Mama Layla, Salma said. She watches over us from heaven. Mama Nora said she's always watching. Khalil looked at Nora, surprised. They asked about their mother 2 weeks ago, Nora explained. I said that Layla loved them very much, that she's in a beautiful place, and that she sent me to take care of them. And that she's happy you married Baba, Rania added. Because now no one is alone. Tears came before Khalil could stop them. 18 months of guilt and grief finally finding release. Nora hugged him. She would be proud of you, Nora whispered. Of how you fight to be present. Layla told me you were a good man who just needed to remember to look at what you had at home. And she sent you to save us. She gave us a family. 3 years later, Salma and Rania were 7 years old. Bright, talkative children, full of questions. They called Nora Mama now, without the Nora in the middle. The legal adoption had been finalized with a simple but moving ceremony. Khalil had sold part of the company and now worked from home 3 days a week. He would never miss his daughter's growth again. Nora had returned to study, completing her nursing degree. Khalil paid for everything with joy. Vivian was still in prison, her appeal denied 3 times. On the twins' 7th birthday, the family visited Layla's grave. Mama Layla, Salma placed flowers on the polished marble. We brought Mama Nora to officially meet you. Nora knelt down. Thank you for trusting me. For making me promise. You saved your daughters even after you left. Khalil put his hand on her shoulder. You orchestrated our salvation. As they walked back, Salma took Nora's hand. Mama, do you think Mama Layla likes that you take care of us? I'm sure she does, darling. Good. Because I love you very much. Me too, Rania echoed. Nora stopped, tears streaming down her face. She had come to that mansion just to fulfill a promise. To protect 2 little girls she didn't even know. And she had gained everything. A family. A purpose. A love she didn't know she needed. I love you too, she whispered, hugging the twins. Forever. Khalil wrapped them in his arms, a complete, imperfect, but real family hug. Because in the end, family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up when you need them. Who hears your cry in the dark. Who risks everything to protect you. Who stays? And sometimes, the person you least expect becomes exactly who you need the most. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone who needs to remember that happy endings exist. That true love appears in the most unexpected places, in the darkest hours, through the most improbable people. Because when someone chooses to stay, not out of obligation but out of love, you have found real family.